Hey guys, I did the expressive journaling series. So the three of them, I did the like doodling kind of drawing. I did the poetry type creative writing, and I also did the stream of consciousness. So the stream of consciousness, I love journaling that way. I usually do it like voice to text. So Dr. Dennis is our instructor. She's also my instructor for practicum, so she gets that every week. But doing it writing was kind of cool. Just a lot of things came to mind. The one that really caught me off guard was like the poetry one because I had the same reaction as many of the patients I work with because I took this class because I wanted to get more broad. I thought I don't do anything creative. Then I realized with these three, I guess I do kind of have implemented some of these. I just didn't realize it was outside of the norm or something different than creative, or it was something different than regular talk therapy. So it was kind of the creative poetry one. I thought distinctly about three to four clients I've worked with. They were musicians, and knowing that their brain works different than mine, I assigned them songwriting and just gave them complete freedom. And them being sober and me being kind of like an audiophile, I like to know when bands are, when they went from not doing well, like mental health recovery, and then once they got sober, like one of my favorite bands, Lamb of God. Ever since one of their band members incarceration and release, like one went further into heroin addiction, their lead singer got sober, so they sound different. We all know Chester from Linkin Park, some of his struggles. So just knowing when a band, like kind of like that AB or BC AD timeline is, so having guys new in sobriety, I would assign that and just love to see what the product was. But I had the same reaction as some of my clients or former clients had when I would give them an assignment. A lot of them were areas that they didn't want to dive into. The ones that popped in my mind are letters to their dad where they're abusive or absent, and they would first think, I have nothing to say to them, and I would give him a piece of paper on the front top. It says, "Dear Dad," dear, maybe his first name. On the back, just write their name and just give it to him. I said, just write anything, anything. Nothing's right, nothing's wrong. Just let it flow, no corrections. So I didn't realize that was technically stream of consciousness in that direction. And then giving like assigning guys some of the musical stuff, and I was always blown away by the product. I'm in the process of cleaning my office, so you guys probably see that my desk is now rotated. So new year, I just need to change up my office. But going through some paperwork, I found one of my patients' song that he wrote in sobriety, and he gave it to me, and he gave me the original version, signed the bottom. I said, "Man, when you finally make it, I'll look back on this and know, like, hey, this was the first thing produced by the sober version of him." So um, I initially had that writer's block, but it was kind of cool. So I leaned into my favorite artist, which rapper, I guess, would be Lil Wayne, and he has a song called "Ball Hard," which is one of my favorites. And he does this weird thing where he says like a two-word phrase, the last word becomes the first word of the next two-letter phrase. He just goes from there. It's ridiculous. Like his brain works very oddly. It's heavily under the influence of marijuana and codeine at most times, but I respect everyone's creative process, and followed him all throughout his career. Also read his journal from when he was incarcerated, so I respect a lot of what he's been through and how he views things. But that was where I went with like the poetry things. I'm not a poetry guy at all, but at first I was like, and I was like, just put the pen to paper. What I tell guys when they have a reaction, I have nothing to say to them. I have no poetic abilities, and I just said, put the pen to paper. Almost got a full paper of doing that. So to give you like a start of it, it was grad students do it, intern hours short fuse, diffuse drama free bird baby counselor in training privately planning exit stage left out last year goals and dreams big building built big stress free your mind mindfulness fullness of anger sometimes depressed from anxiety, constantly thinking, overthinking, thinking long term, a term, terminating employment, self-conscious, conscious of feelings, and it went on. So a lot of things flowed out, and they're all given equal value, which I thought was cool. So that was about a third of it. So I actually enjoyed it. It was a cool process, and it got me leaning further into one of my favorite albums of Lil Wayne, which I gave a listen to while doing some other homework, which is Funeral. If you haven't listened to it, highly recommended. It's not one of the Carter series. So without ending before I ran too long.